Um, any response? Okay, in fact, I think we can uh, continue with the session. Good. I believe you can see my screen. Good. Good. So we're gonna have some introduction about the dataset exploration, but we're gonna have a deeper actually session on this one next week's session. But in order to help you get started on the project, we're gonna have this session. So the objective of this session is to organize the Google Sheet core features of EDA or exploratory data analysis tasks and apply sorting and filtering options effectively and utilizing the basic formulas in keyboard tables for quick summary and relate these skills into project management context. So just to help, just to introduce you to the data that I'm going to be using for this session, I'm going to be working with Aurora issue dataset. This is just a dataset that's about issues. So here we have the key, which identifier of the issue type is just what type of issue is it? Is it a story? Is it a task? Is it a bug? Sprint? Then is a number identified of the sprint, the status, the summary, is it resolved or unresolved. The summary is just a summary of the task or the story, the issue. Story point is how many story points is given to for that specific issue. Priority is the number of just a number to show how prior or how important that task is. So one represents low priority and five represents the utmost or the highest priority. Watch count is the number of notification that the task have. Fixed version, effective version, and the assignee is who is assigned for that task. The creator is who created it, and the reporter is going to report it, the comments, the votes, and so on. So these are not actually not going to be using them, but issue link is a link for the issue blocked by is if that issue is actually blocked by another issue and blocks is the other way around, which is if that issue blocks another issue and depends on is if that task or issue is dependent on by other tasks and it depends on other tasks. And subtask is if that task have other tasks as well. So that this is the data that we're going to be using for this session. So let's get started the with the session. So as usual, if you have any question, if my voice is not clear, and if there's if you cannot see my screen, please just raise your hands. And okay, so let's get started. So just overview of the Google Sheet and why we chose to use it for this project is it has collaboration features, so real-time editing, sharing, and commenting. You can share it with your peers in order to work on a project together, and so on, and key interface elements. So it's easy actually to adapt. The toolbars, the menus, row elements, and the tabs are easy to access. And how accessible it is. So it's cloud-based, so you can actually access it from any device that has internet, and as long as you have the link or the account. So these are just some of the reasons that we are going to be using the Google Sheets. So starting off with introduction to dataset exploration. So what's dataset exploration, just to get started? So it's just a process of analyzing and summarizing the datasets to understand the structure, pattern, and potential insights. So the datasets are usually too big and are too wide in order to just draw insights, throughout insights, and to see patterns by just looking at them. So in this case, by using EDA or dataset exploration or exploration data analysis, it will be easier to understand the structure, the patterns, identify patterns if they have one, and like draw out insights, potential insights. So this is really, really essential for making data-driven decisions as a project manager. So why is it important? So it helps identify trends, outliers, and relationships. There's a data that are actually very, very hard to do so just by looking at the data. And it also provides a foundation for deeper analysis and decision. So the key concepts that we're going to be looking at in order to do data analysis are the first thing is the data set. It's just the collection of the data points. Often they're organized into rows and columns. So the columns actually represent the variables. So the variables are the columns in the data set, which actually represents different attributes. So for your case, this might be the date, the month, the city, the country, P2, PM25, network production, and so on. And observations are the data points or the rows in the data set that actually presents the data points of the data set. And the descriptive statistics are measurements such as the mean or average, the median, the maximum, the max, which is the maximum and the minimum of that summarized data. So here, yeah, I think it's better to just see this as we go. So here, some basic arithmetic, functional function, lookup function. So we are not going to be using this one actually for this demo, but you can use it for the project. It's not directly accessible or directly important for this project or this data. That's why I'm going to be skipping it, but the rest we're gonna be looking at. Okay, so let's get started. So here I'm gonna start a new cell, select new cell, and so sum is just an arithmetic function. So if you see an equal sign, if you start a cell with an equal sign, it's going to assume that you're going to call a function. The functions are actually built into the Google Sheets. So equal sum is going to call the function sum, and it's going to take in the inputs, which is the range. So it's going to add up the numbers within that range. So just to show you, so equal sum, and I'm going to open the bracket. So here you can select it manually or just write the column name. So here, if you do that in press enter, it's going to add them, or you can just manually write them. So here, let's say 2, so it's going to add them from 2 up to 500. So this is the sum of, so this is going to be the sum of the 30 points. Sorry, and the average of the story. You can actually do that. Sorry, just check this. So here you can just say equals to average of from G. So the column is G, and it's going to start from 2 and end at G 555. So semicolon and G 555, and close the bracket, and you're gonna have the average. Okay. So and then sorry, we have the count if. So if a an attribute or some value is or meets the criteria, is going to be counted. So it's going to count the tasks under specific status. So here let's see a count of result. So for the count of resolved tasks, so count of, so here you can say is equal to count if a certain so if the range for the range we're going to select, so since it's in the D column, so we're going to say D2 up to D555. And for the criteria, or for the criterion, we're going to say it's equal to resolved. So we go with and close the bracket. And so in this, we have out of this data set, which is 554, we have 452 resolved issues. So that's how we can do it. And of course, we have some if. So here is pretty much the same thing, but it's going to add the that specific task class or its specific it's like speed like sorry uh, I'm looking for a word. Okay, it's in that criteria. For instance, I think it has to show. So, for instance, let's say watch hour. So let's say some if. So if that criteria is satisfied, it's going to count it. So for instance, for here, let's say from watch hour is from on I2 up to I55, 555. In that range, I want the criteria to be actually instead of this, I think it's better priority about. So let's sum up. So if let's say from H2 up to H 505, so it doesn't have to be in capital letters where it's small. So here, let's say the priority is let's say actually greater than 3. So we have 110, which is the sum of the priorities that are above 3. Okay. Let's moving on. So for sorting, just sorting the table by ascending or descending values due to their priorities. So one way we can do it is we actually have multi-level sorting where you first sort by one priority, one value, and then by another value. So let's see this. So here, let's say data, so sort seeds. So first uh, we need to select the column and work with. I'm going to select H. Question. Yes, Robert. Robert, is that a question? Robert. Robert, can you mute, please? Robert, can you please mute yourself? Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on. So first, I'm going to select the data sets or the columns that I want to sort the whole table in. So I want to sort them according to their priority level. So I'm going to go to sort and select sort sheet and sort sheet by column H. And you can actually choose to sort them in ascending order or descending order. So I want to use the descending order. Okay. I think you might see my screen. Yes, Samuel.
Hi,
Hi.
we are seeing endless loop page. Can you please post the content?
Yeah, yeah. I think I think so. You haven't been seeing my screen for the whole time, for the whole demo, or is it just now? Okay. Okay. So now you can see it, right? Okay, I'm going to click that as a yes. Okay. So okay. So for sorting, I was just sorting them according to let me go back. So I just chose the priority column and go to the data and sort the sheets. And here you will choose to sort them into ascending order A to Z or descending order from Z to A. So if I choose the descending order, so the highest priority are going to be on the top of the table. So here you see 5 is here, priority 4, 3, 2, 1, so sorry. Okay, so that's how you can do sorting. You can do them by sending order as well. So if I want to sort them by their watch count, sending order. So here you can see the issues with the least watch count are on the top of the table or the sheet, and the, with the most count are here on the bottom of the sheet. So then you go back and for filtering, so here you can just go ahead and filter it. So for filtering, if you especially like want to just see specific filtered version of the data set. So for instance, if I only want to work with the resolved issues and I want to discard or not see the unresolved issues, so I can just go here, click on this tab, and here I can select which value. So this is actually condition filter by condition, and I only want to see the resolved. So I just put a tick on resolved and click OK, and it's going to show me only the resolved issues or the column and the rows which actually have the resolved issues. And if I go back here and filter them by condition, so this one, the one is here, priority. If I want to see the priorities which are, let me say, uh, is greater than or equal to, and you want to see priorities which are greater than or equal to 3. So you just write 3 and press enter. So here you will only see priority levels which are above and equal to the priority level 3. Yeah. So that's filtering and sorting. Uh, so do you have any questions so far, guys? Anything that's we may have missed? Anything you may have missed, or if you have any questions and confusions, please ask. Or if it is clear, just show me some thumbs up and we can continue to the next slides. Okay. This seems to be clear so far. That's a good sign. Okay. Thank you guys for confirming. Yes, yes. It's okay. Is that a question? I think someone raised their hand. Okay. So maybe just when you just raise your hands by using this, I'm going to assume that it is a patient. So maybe you can just react with a thumbs up by going to check. So yeah. Good. Okay. Moving on to the rest of the slides, which are just practical tips in order to help you with your task. So some of the practical tips include, of course, starting with descriptive analysis. So almost always start with the analyzing the doing the descriptive analysis, such as average. So we have seen how we can do average. We also have minimum and maximum. So you can just, for instance, if you want to see, let's say, um, sorry, I think I've gone too far down. Yeah. Okay. So let's see comment count. So minimum number of comment counts, minimum comment counts. So we can do is equal to minimum uh, select. So it's already recommending me, so I can just go ahead and push tab. So the minimum comment count is 0, and the maximum uh, count is equals to max and so 20. So these are part of the descriptive analysis. So actually write equal to mode. So just to see the most occurring values or mode, let's say from priority. So which is the most values as the priority is actually mentioned in the data set. So for the priority, we have H. So H2 up to H 555. And you can see the most mentioned priority level is 3, and so on. Yeah, good. So make sure to start with those in order to see the type of data you're working with, and use the filtering and sorting uh, technique that we have seen earlier in order to help you filter by specific criteria and clarify the top or the bottom performance or the bottom values. And of course, look for relationships, explore how variables interact. So for instance, in another data set, you can just see how does the higher the GDP value leads to a higher happiness. So, okay, just okay. One thing that we will be seeing is pivot tables, which is actually a very powerful tool that you can use in order to do your exploratory data analysis, EDA. So we're going to see how we can do that. So it's just a quick summary table. So let me go back to the data set that we have here and the go to the insert, and from the insert we can find the pivot table here. So I'm going to select a new sheet, and these actually have not actually so, I'm going to select the whole, actually, I'm going to select the whole data points, but for your case, you can just select the data points that you want to work with. So I'm just going to select the data sheet, the data points, which is from A1 up to B555, so up to here. So which basically means all the columns and all the values. So I'm going to click on create, and it's going to create a new table here. So here we have a lot of options that we can work with. So here we also have suggestions here. So here one of the suggestions is to sum the comment counts for each assignee. So this is going to show me the number of comments that each assignee had. So here you can just have a quick summary of how many counts, which counts, sorry, the comment counts each assignee have. So what else we can do is we can see priority. Okay, so let's see priority. Sorry, not elements. So here we can see actually. Let's change this into. we can actually have this. So this is just going to show which assignee have which add with, let's say, status. So for the value, I'm going to add priority. So here, the sum of priority that each have just the sum, but here we can just count the count of the projects that each have and later summarization to be status. Yeah, status. So for the value, let's say status. So here we can see counts of status. Sorry. So here we have the resolved and unresolved status. So for each resolved and unresolved status, priority, let priority become the status and the status become the filter. Yes. So here we can see so which priority have the count of the priority each have for each assignee. So Benjamin have only one priority, which is three. Actually, it's not counting it. So this status. So resolved and unresolved. It's a grand total issue type. Also the value. So let's put this back and add I filter, which is going to show greater than three. So only 4 and 5. And for the values, let's use just story points. So I'm going to explain what I'm doing. Second, so here, what we did is for each employee, we have classified them by their priority level above three. So which means which employee or which assignee had tasks or issues above three, which is 4 and 5, and how many of them are resolved and unresolved, and how many of them, like the watch count that train each of them had. So for instance, here, the story points each training had employee had. So, for instance, Bill Farmer had 32 story points that are already resolved, and of that has a priority level above 4. So, for your case, in order to identify which city or which site have a higher, a low pollutant level, for instance, for the pollutants of PM25, you can actually use this filter in order to filter the value and use the value in the columns in order to help you. So for the columns, you can select the cities, and for the values, you can select the PM25. And so yeah, you can do a lot of things actually. Some of the watch count for each issue. So here, for each issue type, it's a sum of the watch counts. For sprint, we have this much, and so on, so on. So in order to, instead of sprint, we can actually select the employees in order to see their count of story points. So employees, where the employees assigned, so assigned. So you can actually drag and drop them, or just add them here. So for the roles, we have the assignee. So this is going to show us which assignee had which types of issue. So Benjamin had 3 tasks. Bill Farmer had 55 bags and 58 stories and 74 tasks, which is a total of 187. So it's a very powerful tool to use. So some of the challenge that you may face in doing this dataset exploration, the first one is large datasets. So if you face large dataset, what you should do is filter them and sort them to focus on the more relevant data that you want to work with. And the second challenge is interpreting the results. So always cross-check your findings with the domain knowledge in order to help you with understanding or making a sound recommendation for the end users. And of course, missing data. Of course, we didn't cover how we can handle missing data, clean them, but these missing data do affect your analysis very much. So before you do any type of analysis, make sure to clean the data sets. So some of the key takeaways are using sorting and filtering for as the first steps in exploring the dataset, and simple formulas can provide quick metrics such as how many tasks. So this is on the example side, and pivot tables offer immediate summaries of heavy data manipulation. So I have also included some references that you can take a look at and to have a deeper understanding about what the data exploration is and so on. But yeah, that's all from my side. Do you have any questions? Any questions, guys? Or is it clear? Can you confirm that it's clear? If so, I think we have just we will take just 10 minutes demo of the 10x platform, where we'll be able to log into your 10x account and access your challenge, and when it's time to submit, how you can submit it and how you can interact with the system. So before we move to that session, please, do you have any question? If not, if everything is clear, can you confirm so that we can move to that session? Is everything clear? Of course, if you can't speak, it's okay. You can just show me some thumbs up. Yes, Samuel.
Well, thank you for the presentation. Uh, I have realized that sorting, filtering, you know, even data cleaning, sometimes it's very easier because these technical skills. But when it comes to interpretation, it comes challenges because you might have all data cleaned, but interpreting the data that you have become difficult. Is there any technique that you can use so that it can be easier for you to interpret the data you have? Thank you.
Yes, that's an excellent question. So that's what like I tried to sorry cover in the session as well. Sorry here. So having domain knowledge is very crucial. So in order to interpret your results, you have to always have some sort of domain knowledge. So that's why the first task of this challenge is for you to understand the problem, understand the data set, and understand the key terms that we have included in the dataset. So what I recommend you to do, this is the perfect question, excellent question, and it happens a lot. So the first thing that I would advise you to do is go through the dataset and understand the dataset, understand what the company is trying to do. So in this case, they are trying to find a place or a city that they can locate in, but they are looking for a city with low pollution levels, sustainability, and low cost. So we all understand what low cost really is, and somehow understand what sustainability is. But the air quality, measuring air quality and so on, could, I would imagine, is a new thing for most of us. So what I would do is start with what these air quality measurements are. How can I identify them? How dangers are there. So since some are more relevant to health than the others, or more dangerous than the others, you need to identify which is which in order to help you identify or have some sort of domain knowledge about what you are going to recommend. So that's actually part of the first task. So with all of our projects, we try to we always recommend you to start with identifying the problem, understanding the data set, and so on. So please start with it, that one. So here. So this is what I was trying to show. Just which pollutants are most relevant and so on. So this will help you get started with understanding the domain. But I think Malik has something to add, so I'm going to go give the floor to her.
Okay, thank you, Kirill, for the explanation and for this beautiful presentation. But I just want to add a few more words on the questions that has been asked earlier. As a project manager, sometimes you have data, sometimes you don't have data. So you need to gather the data as well. So this scenario will always happen in the real work environment. So you need to balance that one. So now in this case, in our first case, you have a data for the environmental data set. That means the pollutant, everything. And on the second one, you need to gather the data itself. So basically from the start of the project or before doing the project, you need to understand why you do this. What's the business need? What's the business context that you have and that you are going to answer within this data? Why do you collect or why do you clean the data? Why do you answer a specific question? So in order to do that, you need to answer first. You need to translate the problem into a set of steps that can answer that can be done to answer the question. So for this case, the question is to assist the freeborn company to have a sustainable headquarters in Africa. That means they need to move to Africa. So they want to see that their advantage. As a freeborn company employee, you will need to see your company's advantage in terms of employee reduction of employee churn or having this minimal cost of living, because if the living cost is high, employee might leave and they can go there and change the freeborn company. So that's an advantage for your company, as well as if there is not a suitable environment for them, still they can leave. So you have to balance that. In order to answer that, you need to go through the data that's given and you need to go to search for additional data which can assist uh, your analysis to support your answer. That means for this one, you need to provide insight from the given data based on the business context. You have to understand why you are doing. Then the steps that are data cleaning, data analysis, plotting, this and that are all about getting the right answer. If you get the right answer without doing this, that's also okay. But in the real fact, we know that you know the problem, but without the data, you cannot get the answer. That means you need to do all this data checking, data analysis, and data finding pattern from the data will be the crucial step for every project manager to be successful on what they have given to be as a task. So in order to be efficient, to provide efficient and convincing insight, you need to check your data, you need to find patterns, you need to find trends, and from that one you can drive a conclusion that's convincing enough to your management, and this conclusion will help us the freeform company as well, and it will be a great asset. You will be the great asset for the company also. And as Carol have mentioned all the things, having data into whenever there is a business challenge, having data is crucial, and making data driven makes you wise and good in your any of the career that you have done, you will do. And you have to learn how to analyze from the overall this project. You have to learn how to analyze data, uh, this counts for freeborn, but in actual fact, you have to see multiple things like the living cost, the air, the thing, and also you have to see the for freeborn the like for employees, how can they be benefited from this one? Maybe high salary wage and low salary. According salaries can be minimum wage salaries can be different according to the countries. So this will advantage freeborn also. So on the other time, you can get another additional insight for if you have a reserve data, it will be much more convincing conclusion that you will make. So to be strategic and to be data guided project manager, data will be the first and the foremost thing that you will do, and it must be aligned with the business goal that you have, whether it's changing headquarter or answering a specific question, including about the employees that you manage or seeing overall the company successfulness. You need to have data. Plus, this have a multi-factor analysis. That means the environmental data is there, the economical factor is there. So combining multiple aspects of the data will gives you the health, the financial feasibility of your conclusion. So just think of that as an additional task that you have. And as you have said, the question is clear, and the question is the base of all the things that we have talked, and the insight that you get and how you communicate the insight must be professional enough and also must be comprehensive. So if you see the data from different sides and from different angles, you have to reach to the conclusion that will benefit the freeborn company. So that's it from my side. If your question needs further clarification or if there is any other question, we can. If not, let's give the chance to Bereket to walk you through how you can submit your assignment, how you can see the challenge document on the platform, and that will assist you on your next move with 10x. So Bereket, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Over to you.
Okay. Let me just share my screen. I will be presenting you the platform that you will be using for the training, and you will be able to submit your work and also get your evaluation, see your leaderboard, and also go through the challenges and what are the things that you need to follow for this specific session or class. I think. Let me stop presenting it, reshare again. Can you see my screen now? So basically,
Yes.
this is a platform that you would be using, and so you based on the link has been provided to you in the email that has been shared. So if it's the first time that you are coming in here and try to log in, you would just go to this part and provide your school email, and with that you would be able to reset to get an email to reset your password. So with that email, then you would be able to reset your password, and once you reset your password, you would be able to log into this page. So I will just show you one of the users that we have. So this one is just a test user, and I would be able to log in with this. So when you log in for the first time, you would be able to see this page, which gives you information about the overall training or the class guideline, where you will be joining, what information that you need to go through, the schedule, the Notion schedule, the code of conduct, inlet policy, where you should join, how you should submit the assignments and the details about the training team and other details uh, about this specific training. So this is an onboarding that you will be able to see when you log in for the first time. And the challenge document will be available in here. So you can see the challenge document, the details, and each detail that you would have been seeing while Kiro presenting will be available on the platform too. And once you go through a training and submit your work and we evaluate your performance, we will be able to you will be able to see your performance score, and you will be able to get your leaderboard in here. Since it's the start of the training, you didn't submit anything. After evaluating your work, you will be able to get these kinds of feedbacks. So to submit your work, when the time appears, like for instance, it's for you in February 11, you would be able to you to submit your work on the report that you have done. So you would come in here and be able to submit your work. So when you come here, you will be able to see the submission portal. So you would, for the report case, you would provide a link to your work. So first you would provide the link to that specific assignment and the work that you have done. Then you would be able to preview that one. And once you preview, you would need to check if it is accurate that this is the thing that you want to submit. And finally, then you click on done. So it would be able to submit that work. So if you submit on time and provide the assignment on time, you would be able to see this message, which is you have done that specific time and you keep that time. If it's late, you would be able to see that this is late, your submission would be recorded as late. And if you try to submit after the deadline, the portal wouldn't allow you to submit. So you have to keep your work on the time basis that's being given. If it is February 11, you should be targeting that one to submit your work on that time. And once you submit your response, most likely you would be able to get your grades. So basically, the grades will come within 1 or 2 minutes, the first draft feedback, and that would be approved by the tutors later. So you would be able to get the report, the specific details about the work that you have done. So here it says these are the things that I have done, and the overall report will be provided, and the scores I have get for this specific assignment, and it would give me specific details for the specific criteria that has been set for this specific report to be valid. So I would be able to read this once, and if I have time, if it is before the deadline, I would be able to edit that specific submission working on the feedback that I have get. So I can go and edit this specific submission, and the same as I can preview. And once I click done, it will be able to review and update the score. Since I have get the feedback from here and also the provided feedback in here, I would be able to rework on the tasks and be able to get a good score next time. So we encourage you to submit your work early and try to work on the feedbacks that has been provided for you in this portal. So this is much more of how you would engage with the system. And yeah, thank you. If you have a question or anything, you can raise. So thank you for having me. Over to you, Kerot.
Thank you so much, Barakat. So was that clear? Do you want? Do you have any questions on that, or do you want anything Barakat to repeat? And please ask. If not, I think we're done with the session. Okay. Don't think there are any questions. Yeah. Anything from Sylvian? Any comments before we end the session? Silvan. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Uh, geez, maybe not. Okay, so we can end the session here. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you so much for joining. And if you have any question whatsoever, you can reach us on Slack. Make sure that to just write on Slack and we will get back to you. Thank you guys and have a great day. Bye.